Instagram. Hey everybody, we are live on Facebook and on YouTube. My name is Crispina French, and I am a textile recycling and used clothing alchemist, entrepreneur, artist, and activist. And right now, we are just kicking off. Actually, we're going to just chit-chat, hang out here for a few minutes, and welcome people to day number 3 of this Potholder Rug study hall. I'm here with my concierge, Carson, who has just been amazing, holding down the fort and helping people navigate and finding the recordings and all that kind of groovy stuff that goes on behind the scenes with technology that is intended to be helpful, but sometimes it gets a little complicated. So Carson is the person who's been making these lives possible. And while I'm chatting, I'm also going live over here on the Instagram. I'm gonna get my little setup going here so we can welcome people. Hey, Instagram, how's it going? So my name is Crispina French, and today is day number 3 of the Potholder Rugs study hall, which is a mini series that I'm running with my with the help of my dear concierge Carson, who is with us over on the YouTube and Facebook feed right now. So if you are interested in learning how to make the most awesome rugs out there, all out of recycled used clothing, this is a little one. It's a little chair pad. And this one is actually made out of, there's a lot of single socks used in this one. So they can be made out of any type of stretchy used clothing. And like I said, today's day number 3. So we're just going past our halfway point. We have one more session tomorrow, and there are recordings of our first 2 days if you guys are interested and have missed those. And if you're watching this on a recording, if you're not catching this live, welcome. Thank you for coming. Thank you for being here. If you run into questions that you're confused about as you watch, please just type them right up into the comments of the feed, and we will certainly touch upon those as soon as we get to them. So for all of you guys tuning in, I see there's a bunch of people gathering. Well, pop a comment up and let us know, is this your first experience with Potholder Rugs? Is this something that you've been looking forward to for a while and you've kind of heard about on the periphery and now you're here with us? Or is this something that's brand new to you that you just learned about recently? Either way, it's a great, Potholder rugs are there's just so many benefits to making them. But I'm not going to go into that too much now because we are just gathering and kind of catching up with each other here. The teaching aspect of things will start right at noon Eastern Standard Time. So if you're in a different time zone, it'll be on the hour. And once I start teaching, it's kind of hard for me to follow the comments. So if you do have questions, pop them in the feed. Carson will be with us. They'll be off screen, but present. So if things come up that need attention right away, Carson will be able to help with that. And they'll also be able to compile a list of questions that we can get to at the end for the Q&A section of things. So welcome everybody. And yes, you can totally see the sock rug again. And actually, we're going to talk a lot about the sock rug when we get started with the teaching. So I'm going to kind of hold off, but I do have a sock rug for anybody who just tuned in. It's I talk about how potholder rugs can be made from any kind of used clothing, and really stretchy used clothing is the best. Let me get a rug to show you, because actually these are a couple of sections of the sock rug. So these are predominantly woven from recycled single socks. And actually, I have a little secret, and that is that I work with a company that is a sock manufacturing company, and I use, they have things, they're not really single socks, they're like hiccups in their production process, and they generate a fair amount of waste. So this is a rug that's made out of a lot of their waste, their manufacturing waste, and all the single socks are from my personal stash. And believe me, I don't know why it is, but for some reason, my family just seems to have an inordinate amount of socks in our lives. I don't know. I like to have warm feet, I guess. So that is kind of where we're going to start. We're going to start today talking about the actual aesthetic of the different potholder rug options that are available, how to get your workspace set up. What kind of workspace do you need? Like I often am told, oh, I can't do that. I don't have enough room. But I can tell you that this little, well, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait until noon because I get going and then I wind up repeating myself and then it gets a little crazy and maybe a little repetitive for you guys. So pop in the comments. Did anybody take pictures of their stash of material from yesterday? Who was here yesterday? Hello? Somebody's having problems. They say I'm pixelated today. It's very blurry and pixelated.
Yeah, you are a little bit.
I am? Let's see. Let me just check my connection here. I'm going to turn off other stuff that's going on in the background. Does that seem better?
A little. Maybe, should we refresh the...
Maybe I'm going to just hit the refresh button, you think, Carson?
Yeah.
All right. If I get disconnected, I'll come back.
Okay. Hello.
Okay. How's this looking? Is this looking better?
It's still a little pixelated. But I think at least a lot of the teachings today are going to be on slides too.
Yeah, so let's see if this having issues button is going to help us. And it's a good thing we started a few minutes early to figure this stuff out. Hang tight, guys. Hang tight. If you're watching, we're just trying to figure out a little hiccup we're having over with our broadcasting software to make sure that we are giving you the best quality and the best quality that we can. It's telling me to move closer to the router, which I'm actually plugged into. So should we roll with it or should we start over? What do you think?
If you want, I think the other option would be to restart the router, but I also think that it's clear enough, I think, for if you want to continue.
Okay, so we're gonna continue and we're gonna just say a little, like, do a rain dance to the technology gods and goddesses that somebody says, I know you're looking great behind the blur. Oh, connection is unstable. Okay. Very blurry and pixelated. Oh, sound is good. Well, that's good. Okay.
Instagram looks great.
Instagram looks good. That's helpful. All right. I wonder if we can, let's just keep working on this for a minute. So right now we are just about to launch into day number 3 of our Potholder Rug study hall, and we're having a little bit of issue with the quality of the image that you guys are seeing. So Carson looks, so it's definitely my connectivity. Oh, Nancy, I'm so sorry. You're if you're frustrated by the technical support, we do the best we can. And that's fine. We'll work it out. All right, so I think we're just going to get started. So yeah. Carson's going to be with us, and it might be that, I don't know if my signal strength will become stronger when Carson is not sharing the screen with me. Maybe, I don't know. But we're going to just roll with it because we have a bunch of slides to share today, and I'm going to see about, let's see.
I'm going to head out. Bye.
Okay, Carson, thank you so much. I'll be here and we'll roll with this, we'll do the best we can. That's what we're gonna do. Okay, so, all right. Okay. Cheryl asked a question. All right. Cheryl asked if she can use polyester knit on a bolt, and yes, you can use that, definitely. Okay, so welcome to day number 3 of the Potholder Rug study hall with me, Crispina French. I am a textile recycling artist, activist, and entrepreneur. I live in Western Massachusetts, and today we're going to talk all about the kind of things that you need to really get started making your potholder rugs. So I'm not going to be able to really focus too much on the comments, but Carson, who was just with us, is with us still. She's just not on screen. She will be fielding all the questions that you guys come up with. If you have questions or concerns or ideas or experiences that you'd like to share, please do type those up into the comment field, and at the end of the session, we will allow some time for some questions and answers. It is clear to me that I'm not that clear on the streaming software that we're using. So I'm going to do my best, and I'm going to share some images that I think are going to help you kind of, I hope they come clearly. I think they're still, so it should be a little easier for you to see than the live video. So let's just see. We're going to start with, yesterday we were talking about material collection and how to go about doing that and what kinds of materials work well for this process. And we talked about collecting things from different, let's see. I'm not sure. I'm just having all sorts of issues today with the connectivity, and now with my images. Where the heck are they? Gonna try to find them. Here we go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So now I think I can share my screen. Sorry. I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay. So when we were talking about the materials yesterday, we talked about the stretchy, right? Like, so when you're first starting out with your very first potholder rug, you want to use stretchy material. And actually, you always want to use stretchy material, but you can work in materials that are not stretchy once you kind of have the idea and you've made a couple of rugs and you kind of get the whole process, okay? So if you have non-stretchy material, you can certainly use that, but I do highly recommend starting the first rug that you make, and even like the first couple of rugs that you make, to use stretchy material. So that includes things like t-shirts, sweatshirts, sweaters, leggings, tights, single socks, like those little cami tops that people wear in the summertime that just have like a little strap. All of those things are totally suitable. You can even use jeans that have stretch in them. You know, like most of the jeans that are made for women these days are not 100% cotton, but they do have some stretch to them. So that is going to get you started with the process. And in addition to knowing what types of materials to look for, you also kind of need to know how to set up your workspace and what the possibilities are with the designs that you might want to make, the different types of rugs. So today I have a bunch of slides and I'm going to share those with you. I am going to do the best that I can to share with you. And actually, I think that I'm going to have to just share on YouTube and on Facebook today, because I just don't know how to do this on Instagram, and I don't want to make everybody wait longer than they've already waited. Thank you, Robin, for being so understanding about tech stuff. It's really not my strong suit. So I will talk you through the setup of your workspace. But over on Facebook and YouTube, this is a workspace setup with one of the large looms from my shop. So you can see the loom is a frame, a square frame. Well, it's a rectangular frame. There's screws all around the perimeter of the frame. and you can make these frames in any size that you like. I do sell rug looms, and I sell rug loom kits, and I also have a teaching video available in my shop if you need help getting started. You can do something as simple, and I talked about this a little bit yesterday, you can do something as simple as use canvas stretchers and nails, and you're just going to nail, put a nail in an inch apart all the way around the perimeter of the canvas stretchers. So I have this the frame that I'm showing in the picture here is a 40 by 50 inch frame. It makes a 2.5 by 3.5 foot rug. Let me show you. Actually, I can't show that to you right now because I'm sharing my screen. But it's on. I put it up on a couple of folding chairs, and I lean it against a banister where I can tie it so that it's secure. Because as you're weaving, you don't want the loom to come forward and fall on you. So for those of you on Instagram, I'm just going to show you. This is a small loom, and this is the kind of looms that we make and sell in our shop. And when you're weaving with a loom, you just want to secure it so it's kind of leaning away from you this way, and you want to tie that onto something, whether it's a banister like I'm showing in the picture here, or if you have like a column in your house, or sometimes in the basement you'll have like a lolly column that's there for structure. If you don't have any of those things, you can always affix a nail to some sturdy place in your wall if it's woodwork, or somewhere where you can just like tie that on. You can even tie it onto like a doorknob if you have a doorknob, and sit on the floor while you're making rugs. So this is a nice, another nice workspace that I'm showing here now with a smaller loom that I have here. And the smaller looms are really great, especially this time of year. If you're in the northern hemisphere and you're just working into the warmer weather, you can bring this right outdoors and sit and weave. You can bring it with you if you're going to watch a ball game or whatever. It's pretty portable, and you can just bring your materials that are already prepped and ready to weave with you, so that it's you don't need to have a large workspace. You can really do that, sit at your kitchen table. It's not like you need a special room set aside for this type of work. So now we're going to look at some kind of rug designs that are across the gamut. Like there's so many different looks that you can create with potholder rugs. So I'm showing in the picture here two kind of very solid, very monochromatic color palettes that are pretty popular, and it does take quite a while to gather materials if you're doing something that's very monochromatic. So the rugs I'm showing on Instagram, on Facebook and on YouTube right now, one of them is olives, all olive green, and it's a very beautiful, rich, almost neutral, right? Like it works with very like a wide range of interiors. So the furniture showing in the image is like an antique velvet couch. It could be a very modern setting. It's kind of understated, right? On the left side, the image is a bright blue bathroom rug, and again, very monochromatic in tone. So what I did not dye any of the materials I use. I just am very specific about collecting materials. So when I'm looking, if I'm looking to make a monochromatic color palette rug, I collect material and I kind of bundle it together, and it takes a while. It takes a lot of digging and looking, and you have to really have sometimes I'll even bring like a color swatch with me when I'm going to search through fabrics to make that particular type of rug. So let's see. Now, houndstooth is a traditional weave pattern, and it's a fun way to get a pattern going in a rug. There's two different ways of creating a houndstooth pattern with the potholder rugs. One is with a 4 by 4 repeat. So that means that when you're threading your loom, here's a loom again. When you're threading your loom, you're going to make 4 rows of like this. The one that's showing is 4 rows of red, and then 4 rows of white, and then 4 rows of red, and then 4 rows of white. So 4 loops in a row of each color, alternating back and forth that way. And then when you start to weave your rug or your chair pad, whatever you're making, you can just use the same repeat. So you're going to start with one color and just go 4 rows, and then 4 rows of the other color. Doesn't matter which color you start with. It doesn't matter which color you end with. It's just a way of creating that nice kind of checkerboard, sort of traditional, but super like wonked traditional pattern, right? Like houndstooth is often seen in like Chanel suits from like the 1960s, right? But this is a different kind of alternative use for houndstooth. So showing right now the slide is the 4x4 houndstooth, and then the 2x2 is there. So it's a little bit of a different look. The 2x2, I think, is a little busy for me. I kind of prefer the 4x4. Okay, so then we also are checkerboard, right? The chair pad, and I talked a little bit about this before we got started. For those of you on Instagram, this is the a chair pad size little component. You can use this as a chair pad, and it kind of came off the loom I was just holding. And you can also use this as a component to build larger rugs. So on the left side of the slide, you see the chair with the chair pad on it, and then the loaded loom to make another chair pad. And on the right side of the slide, you have the kind of larger rug in process. So this one is a checkerboard rug. You do not have to make them be checkerboard. You could make all your components the same, like I have here, so that they will just become like one large rug without having to have that one large loom. You can just make that. And you can actually make rugs in any increment that you choose. You can even make, like if you have an L-shaped space that you need a rug for, you can make one rug that is L-shaped to fill that space. So super easy, fun way to make a real custom rug for whatever interior you're working with. Okay, and then there is the checkerboard rug. That is actually a picture of my office where I normally am. Today I am streaming from my sister's house, which is the house I grew up in, thinking, maybe foolishly, that I would have like this awesome, strong signal, which I have had for the last few days. So it's I hope that the imagery is nice and clear for folks watching at home today. We were having a little bit of an issue about that earlier. So there's the checkerboard rug in a setting, which is kind of nice to see. And you can see it lays down nice and flat. There's not a lot of, you can't really see the seams. You can see the distinction between squares because they're different colors, but it lays down as one nice big rug. And then we go into like hearts. And hearts are a very popular rug that we make in the studio, and they are time consuming and they're a little tricky. I do not recommend making a heart rug for your very first potholder rug, but they are beautiful. And I think that, of all the rugs that I've designed and made over the years, I think the heart rugs are probably the most popular. So let me see. I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Let's see. Let's see. How do I do that? Let's see. StreamYard. There we go. Am I back? I'm back. So those are a bunch of the different kinds of designs that you can make with this process. This process is one of those things that's pretty easy to learn, and the learning never stops, right? You can just take this and make it yours. You can make, like I said, chair pads, you can make pet beds, you can make sleeping mats for kids. People have asked me if they're suitable to make sleeping mats for homeless population, and they certainly are. They're heavy when you have a finished rug. This weighs about a pound and a quarter, depending on the materials that you use. So generally speaking, a potholder rug weighs about a pound per square foot. So not really suitable for carrying around with you if you're going camping, or if you're, God forbid, you're homeless. They're heavy, so they're not super suitable for that type of use, but they are comfortable to lay on. When my kids are younger, I remember we had a giant sleepover pre-COVID. And I think I had 10 or 12 kids sleeping over, and I laid out all the rugs that I had finished in the studio, and all the kids were lined up in a row sleeping, and they were just, I should have taken pictures. That was so cute. So I just want to let you know that this process does involve, recycling, it's you get to meet and kind of interact and build community by your material collection. You're helping the environment. You're making beautiful rugs. And if you want to take this process to the next level, I'm actually opening registration for my masterclass tomorrow. So you can join me and learn all the ins and outs. There will be no stone left unturned, no question left unanswered. It's a 5-week course, and it's so much fun. I have the most incredible people show up and join me for these endeavors. So if that's of interest, please come back again tomorrow at noontime, and we'll talk all about what's involved and what you will learn, and all the amazing magic that you will make by turning your discarded or maybe collected and saved clothing from maybe your kids that they've outgrown, or maybe you're holding on to some precious garments that belong to people that you love who have passed away. All of those things can be used and built into this beautiful legacy through this process. So I think that it's a lot of fun, and I love it, and I love to teach. So I'm hoping that we'll get going with a great group. So I think that I'm ready for some questions. I saw a bunch of them floating by. I want to just see if I can grab some of these right now. So yeah, if you have questions, put them in the comments. If you, let's see, Gail Kincaid, is that how you say it? Am I saying that right? On YouTube, wants to know, what is the cost of the masterclass? The masterclass is $597. It's a 5-week course. You learn every single thing that you could possibly need to know about potholder rugs. There's a great community. We do modules that are that come out weekly, and then we do a live session as well. And there's all sorts of cool bonuses and stuff that I'm going to talk more about tomorrow. The nails on the looms are 1 inch apart. Somebody asked about how to make a loom. So the looms are, and let me tell you a fun story, because I just think that, like, when I first developed potholder rugs, and let me just preface this story by saying, I think I invented potholder rugs. I've been making them for 30 years, and I have researched, and I love rugs. I love all sorts of traditional rugs. I have a bunch of different kinds of rugs in my home, braided rugs and toothbrush rugs and hooked rugs, and they're so beautiful, and a lot of rugs are actually made from recycled clothing. But the potholder rugs are something that I never found a reference to them. And when I first made one, I just thought, like, this must have been done before. It's such a simple process. It's just like making potholders, right? When you were like a little kid. There are definitely tricks and tips about how to make them beautiful and square, and how to make them lay down nice and flat. Like, definitely an easy process to learn, but like I said, the learning never stops. So back in 1990, I had a production company, and I sold to stores all over the world. I had 350 stores that carried my work, and I had a staff of 40 people. And we bought tractor trailer loads. It was like better than like it was like a fairy tale, honestly. I think back on it, it was like the most magical thing. I would get a tractor trailer load of sweaters that were all sorted by color. So I could say, I want 1,000 pounds of purple, I want 1,000 pounds of orange. And they would bring me these sweaters, right? They were all used, all post-consumer, so all, different types of sweaters. And there was this giant, it started out being a small pile of material that weren't of goods, of, sweaters and whatever wool knits I was buying, that were not suitable to use for the other products that I was offering. And over time, that pile became larger, and I just needed to figure out how to deal with that. I am a diehard recycler, and I definitely didn't want to throw it away, but I wasn't using it for anything. So one weekend I came into the studio and nobody was around. It was all nice and quiet. And I was just looking at this pile of material, thinking, just kind of ascertaining, what are the intricacies of this material? How can this be put to good use? And it was almost like I was channeling a creative genie of some kind, because during that day, and it was literally a couple of hours, there was a stash of canvas stretchers in my studio that my mom had given me. I pulled those out. I made a square out of canvas stretchers. I banged in like the super wimpiest little finishing nails you've ever laid hands on, like banged them in around the edge. I'm not a big measurer. I just kind of eyeballed it. I think I put a ruler out and just kind of, you know, haphazard made this loom. And I made the very first potholder rug. And I still have that potholder rug. I wound up making 6 sections that were all made on that. It was a 30-inch square. And I put them together like 2 by 2. So it was like 2 by 3 sections, a little bit bigger than 5 by 5 feet or 5 by 7 feet. And that rug was in my living room. It was in my son's nursery when he was a baby. It's been through my life for the last 30 years. And it's durable, it's colorful. That particular rug is all bright reds. And the looms are just like, there's nothing really, you don't need to have a lot of tools. You can really make a loom pretty simply. But if you're one of those people who you're just, you know, wrestling power tools is not your jam, you're not really interested in trying to find canvas stretchers, and you don't have any wimpy finishing nails kicking around your life, we do sell looms in my shop. And you can access my shop. Actually, Carson, maybe you can pop this up in the comments for folks on both all 3 platforms. It's crispina.eco with a /shop. And if you go there, you will see all the different options for getting yourself set up with a loom. So there's finished looms. There's loom kits that you can put together. They're all pre-cut lumber and pre-drilled holes, and you just put the screws in. They're a little bit less expensive than the finished looms. And then there's also a teaching video. So if you do decide to go with this teaching video, it's $97. And then you decide that you do want to take the course, that $97 will come right off the top of your course. You do not have to pay for both because it's actually the first segment of the course. I'm just ready for the, let's see. So I see some questions here. You can use finishing nails. I did use finishing nails like I just described, but you can also use nails or screws with a bigger head. The screws that I use now are very sturdy. They do not bend. They're, you know, they're screws, not nails. So they don't, you know, they're a little sturdier, and they have, I don't know if you can tell by me holding this up, but can you see how the, it's a little angled away from the center of the loom. So it's kind of nice. It keeps the loops from popping off as you're weaving. So even though this loom seems like something that's like super simple, like trained monkeys could make those, there has been a lot of, you know, just use and development that's gone into these. So they're well thought through. The other thing that's cool about the looms here is that you can unscrew these corner bits and just store them as for, you know, pieces of wood that can more easily fit in a closet or under a bed or something like that when you're not using it. So somebody's asking about where you can get the video for $97 to learn how to make your own loom. You can buy that right in my shop, which Carson just posted the links for the shop up and on the platforms that we are currently broadcasting on, I believe. So it's Crispina, like my first name, .eco, E-C-O, with a /shop. And that way you can access that video. And if it's something that you dig and you're into it and you think, wow, this is kind of cool, the masterclass registration is opening tomorrow. And the $97 price of that particular teaching video will be taken right off the price of the course if that is what you decide to do, because it is actually part of the course. And actually the teaching video is kind of cute. It's me and my hubby. My hubby is the guy who really helped develop the looms, and he is actually such a talented maker. But he is not actually our current rug loom maker because he's just too busy. He does not have all the time needed to do that. So I'm seeing a couple questions here. Is there any sewing involved? George Ann Cost. Van Velzor. Sorry, I'm like murdering your name. Georgianne, let's stick with that. There is not sewing involved. I mean, you can actually be more efficient with your material if you do sew things, but you don't have to. You don't have to be able to sew, and you don't need to have a sewing machine. But there's in the masterclass, I will talk all about all the intricacies of how to really efficiently use your material. My scrap factor, that's kind of a trade term for how much scrap is left over after you've used your materials. My scrap factor of Potholder Rugs is like between 2 and 3%. So if I buy 100 pounds of garments to use for making Potholder Rugs, I have between 2 and 3 pounds of material left over, little scraps of pieces that I can't use. Oh, and cool. So Robin just commented that she just got her first large loom and she loves it. And thank you so much for saying that, Robin. That's really helpful for other people to see that. Robin does not work for me. I have not had the pleasure of meeting Robin. I hope to someday. We ship our looms all over the world. So yes, definitely. If there's any issue with the website, sometimes like if you live in a country that we've never shipped to before, sometimes the website flags that and says, oh, we can't ship there. We can ship anywhere. Like if you're having an issue with it, just send an email and we'll be happy to write that for you. What else do we have for questions? Do socks need to be sewn together or polyester on the bolt need to be sewn together? Yes, you want to make loops. Okay, that's the idea, is you want loops. So it's not like one continuous piece, it's loops that go straight across the loom. So if you have polyester stretchy stuff on a bolt, you just want to sew it into it and then you can cut it across and make loops that are, in a circle. So the course does not come with a loom. It comes with instructions to make a loom. Yeah. Oh, Robin, I mean, honestly, I don't know where you live, but we're going to have to meet up somewhere sometime. How often do you do the masterclass? Sue, great question. Actually, this is the second time I've offered the masterclass online the way that we're doing it now. So it's not something that I do all that often. But once you've taken the masterclass, you have access to the videos, to recordings of the live sessions, and everything else that comes along. There's PDFs, there's swipe files, there's all kinds of information to help you with your process, and that is accessible to you for time immemorial. And as new versions of the class come out, you're able to access the new versions as well. So if now is not the greatest time for you to spend focused time on the Potholder Rugs, not to worry. If you sign up, you can watch those at your leisure. So let's see. So Kim, hey Kim, she wants to know, what is the best technique to collect and then cut or pre-cutting and storing by color? When I buy materials for rugs, I often will pre-cut stuff, and oftentimes, depending on the rug that I'm making, and I'm going to show you a couple of rugs here, because if you're just joining us today for the first day, you might not have seen these already. And I'm going to show you these first. These are my single sock rugs, and I made a dozen of these little pieces. So they're what I would call a chair pad size, and they can be melded together so that they become one big rug. And that is part of what is taught in the masterclass, the joining of those. So it's a seamless join, and they just become like one plane, and they're beautiful, nice big rug. So when I'm cutting material for that type of a rug, I'm cutting, and I don't know if you noticed, but there's like a white or a light colored kind of X here in the middle, or T, cross maybe is the best way to say it. So I have a tub full of the dark colors here, and then I have a smaller tub with just the lighter colors. So that when I'm going to, and I oftentimes will, like on my loom, I mark the middle screw so that I can know, oh, that's where the light color goes. Okay. So that's how I do that. And I often, if I know that I'm going to use whatever garments I'm cutting, that's going to definitely be rug material, I will cut I'll spend a whole day cutting material, and then I'll sort it the way I think I'm going to use it. So let me show you a couple of other examples. This is the rainbow rug. That's like a super. My favorite color is rainbow. So when I'm cutting and a material for this rug, I have a tub of pink, I have a tub of red, a tub of orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. So I actually use cardboard boxes for that kind of storage, just because when they're separated, it's just a much more efficient making process than if you have to fish through like one large container with all your colors mixed in. And then another way to do it, and this would be if you're making like a random kind of rug. This rug is all different light tones. So this is t-shirts, well, a lot of single socks again, and it kind of light, this that gray, heather gray sweatshirt material. Super nice for that palette, and it kind of gives a lot of tonal difference when you're working with like light, like white and then grays and then cream colors all together. So that would all just go into one large container. And what another thing, and I'll just throw this in there for you now, if you're making a rug that is, that size or whatever size, any kind of rug, you want to kind of think about, okay, that rug is actually, I know this because I've been making these rugs for so long, it's 8.75 square feet. So for that rug, I'm going to need probably 10 pounds of material. 10 pounds of material is like, just to give you an idea, it's probably about 35 t-shirts. So you don't necessarily need to use just t-shirts. You can mix your fiber. You can use t-shirts and sweaters and sweatshirts and leggings and whatever, all mixed together. But just to give you an idea, 35 t-shirts will make you that size rug. So you want to cut all your material. You want to toss it all into a tub or a big cardboard box. And then you're going to toss it like a salad so that when you weave your rug, you're going to have an even tonality across the whole rug. And you're not going to run out of one particular color that might be at the beginning, and it might make the rug wind up looking a little spotty. I hope that helps you, Kim. Kim and I have had the pleasure of meeting a couple of times, and it's so nice to see you here. Thanks for being here, Kim. Great. So I think that, Alice, you like my frock. Thank you, doll. I love this dress. This is actually something I found at the thrift store because all my clothes I found at the thrift store. And it had long sleeves. It was kind of uncomfortable. So I just kind of cut it apart a little bit. And now I really like it. All right, cool. So I think I've got all the questions that came through my feed answered. If I missed you, my apologies, but I will definitely, we go back through all of the comments and questions every day, so we are sure not to miss it. We will definitely answer anything that we might have missed in tomorrow's session. And I'm going to give you a challenge for tomorrow. If you're thinking about potholder rugs, I want to know what room you would put your very first potholder rug in, and what color would be, or what pattern of the ones we went over today. What resonates most with you? Put that up in the comments, and I'd like to see that. I'd like to see, where are you going to put that first rug, and what is your ideal, what's your dream rug look like? Tell me in the comments. And until then, I will see you tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time, where we will be back for day number 4 and talk more about potholder rugs. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you so much for rolling with the tech stuff going on today. I don't know. Does it have to, I don't know. The internet baffles me. Is it because it's raining here? I don't know. Anyway, thank you. I appreciate your time, and I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Have a great afternoon.